Guitarist Ace Frehley, one of the founding members of the rock group Kiss, has died. He was 74.
Guitarist Ace Frehley, the iconic founding member of the legendary rock band Kiss, has passed away at the age of 74. His death has sent ripples through the music world, touching fans, fellow musicians, and the broader rock community alike. Known for his electrifying guitar work, cosmic persona, and fearless individuality, Frehley left a mark on music that few can rival. News of his passing quickly drew attention, culminating in a funeral that became an event of both mourning and reflection, capturing the gaze of media and fans worldwide. Yet beyond the standard rituals of a memorial, Frehley's funeral carried a dramatic twist that instantly became the focus of discussion. Among the sea of mourners, one guest's arrival caught everyone by surprise, shattering expectations and instantly creating tension within the solemn gathering. This single presence hinted at the complex relationships, long-standing disputes, and personal dynamics that had defined much of Frehley's life, both on and off the stage. Ace's passing marked the end of a remarkable career spanning over 5 decades, defined by his time with Kiss, his daring solo ventures, and his relentless pursuit of creative freedom. He was a man who refused to follow the rules others set for him, living and performing life on his own terms. This attitude earned him admiration, respect, and at times controversy, but it also cemented his legacy as one of rock's most fearless artists. The funeral, held in Morristown, New Jersey, became more than just a gathering to mourn. It became a lens into the life, conflicts, and brilliance of a man who left an indelible mark on rock history. From the moment Ace Frehley picked up the guitar, it was clear that he was destined for something extraordinary. Born with an unmistakable flair for music and a natural stage presence, Frehley's rise to fame began in the early 1970s when he co-founded Kiss, a band that would go on to redefine rock music. His unique style, a combination of blistering guitar solos, melodic sensibility, and a stage persona that seemed to emerge from another world, quickly set him apart from his peers. With Kiss, Frehley became part of a phenomenon. The band's blend of theatrics, pyrotechnics, and unforgettable songs captured the imagination of millions. Yet even in the midst of fame, Frehley never allowed himself to be subsumed by the group dynamic. He carved his own path, maintaining a level of independence that often put him at odds with his bandmates, but also allowed him to explore his artistic vision freely. Frehley's solo career further demonstrated his individuality. While many artists might have settled for playing it safe, he took risks experimenting with sound and style, and embracing creative decisions that reflected his personal tastes, rather than commercial pressures. His work with Frehley's Comet was a testament to his determination to create music on his own terms, from songwriting to production to touring. Throughout his career, Frehley displayed a blend of charisma, rebelliousness, and unwavering dedication to his craft. He had a way of making every note, every riff, and every performance feel personal, as though the audience were being allowed a glimpse into his soul. His personality was complex, independent, outspoken, and occasionally unpredictable, but it was precisely these traits that made him both fascinating and formidable. Frehley's life was not only about music, it was about authenticity, a commitment to doing things his own way and a refusal to compromise on what he believed in. The funeral for Ace Frehley was held in Morristown, New Jersey, a quiet town that on this day became the epicenter of the rock music world. Attended by family, close friends, and figures from the music industry, the ceremony carried a mix of reverence, emotion, and inevitable tension. Among the mourners were those who had shared in Frehley's triumphs, as well as those who had experienced the strains and conflicts that often accompanied his bold career choices. From the beginning, the atmosphere was heavy with anticipation. Fans and media speculated on which of Frehley's former bandmates would appear, who would speak, and whether old rivalries would surface. Amidst this crowd of high-profile attendees, it was the unexpected presence of Gene Simmons that immediately captured attention. Simmons' appearance was a moment of profound surprise. She was the sole guest whose presence shocked the audience and the gathered musicians. The tension in the room was palpable. Simmons had a long, complicated history with Frehley, spanning disputes over benefits, tours, contracts, and artistic decisions. Their relationship had been marked by both mutual respect and deep-seated disagreements, making her arrival all the more remarkable. As she walked into the ceremony, whispers spread, cameras focused, and every eye seemed to follow her. The audience understood instantly that this was more than just a casual visit. It was a moment loaded with history, emotion, and unspoken stories. The funeral became a stage on which the narrative of Frehley's life played out. The gathering of family, friends, bandmates, and industry colleagues symbolized the breadth of his influence, while the drama of the unexpected guest highlighted the enduring complexity of his relationships. The combination of grief, respect, and unresolved tensions created an atmosphere that was at once solemn and charged, a fitting reflection of a man who had lived a life of intensity, creativity, and independence. Gene Simmons, long associated with moments of both conflict and collaboration in Ace Frehley's career, stepped forward to speak briefly at the funeral. Her words, measured yet filled with emotion, immediately captured the attention of those present. Ace was always an unpredictable person, she said, but his talent and honesty overcame everything. The simplicity of the statement belied the depth of years spent navigating professional disagreements, personal disputes, and creative challenges alongside Frehley. Simmons continued, recalling moments of tension with a tone of reflective respect. We argued. We got angry. But Ace always kept the music at the center of everything. I learned a lot from how he stuck to himself. These remarks, though brief, conveyed volumes about the dynamic between the two. Simmons's acknowledgement of Frehley's uncompromising nature was not just an appraisal of his career. It was a testament to the unique character of a man who refused to bend under pressure, no matter the circumstances. Past interviews had also captured Simmons's admiration for Frehley. She once said, Ace never compromised his music or himself, and that's what made him who he is. And that's what I've always respected. These words, resurfacing at the funeral, became a focal point for reporters and attendees alike, highlighting the tension, complexity, and mutual respect that defined their long-standing relationship. Simmons' presence and words served as a symbolic reconciliation of sorts, a reminder that Frehley's life and career were shaped not just by collaboration and triumph, but also by disagreements, struggles, and conflicts that ultimately underscored his individuality. The audience, aware of the history behind her presence, understood the significance. This was a nod to the personal and professional battles that had marked Frehley's journey, a final acknowledgement of the influence he wielded over those who worked closely with him. The moment she spoke, cameras flashed and reporters hurried to record every word. It was a climax in a ceremony already charged with emotion, a stark reminder of the layered complexity of Frehley's life, a mixture of brilliance, defiance, and deep human connection. Simmons' tribute encapsulated a truth about Frehley, a man defined by his talent, his honesty, and his unwavering commitment to his vision. Among the attendees were close allies who had witnessed Ace Frehley's journey up close. Peter Criss, the former Kiss drummer and longtime friend, took a moment to reflect on Frehley's career. Ace always did things his way, Criss said. He was independent and outspoken. That sometimes caused tension, but it was the most important part of his career. His independence is what made his music special. These words echoed a sentiment familiar to anyone who had followed Frehley's life, a commitment to authenticity above all else. Family members also played a crucial role in commemorating Frehley's life. His daughter, Monique Frehley, delivered an emotional tribute, emphasizing the centrality of music in her father's life. My father lived and worked his own way, she said. Music was his life, and what he left behind is a gift for all of us. Monique's speech highlighted not only Frehley's professional achievements, but also his personal side, the man behind the makeup and guitar, a father whose love for music intertwined with his love for family. Longtime manager Larry Libman, responsible for guiding Frehley through years of tours and contractual negotiations, shared his own reflections. Ace always wanted to do music his own way, Libman said. It created conflict at times, but it showed he was a man who stood by his style and principles. That independence defined his career. Libman's comments reinforced the narrative of Frehley as an artist who consistently prioritized creative freedom over convenience or conformity. Together, these tributes painted a multifaceted picture of Ace Frehley, a man who was talented, determined, independent, and often unpredictable. The funeral was not just a moment of mourning, but a stage where the intertwined threads of his personal relationships, professional achievements, and long-standing conflicts were made visible. It became clear that Frehley's life was as much about the people around him as it was about the music he created. A complex tapestry of talent, loyalty, tension, and devotion. Ace Frehley's career was marked by both extraordinary success and inevitable controversy. From his early years with Kiss, he navigated relationships fraught with tension, disagreements, and differing visions. Conflicts with bandmates, particularly Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, often revolved around rights to tours, album decisions, and creative control. While these disputes occasionally became public, they were reflective not of personal malice, but of Frehley's unwavering dedication to his own principles. Decisions about tours, set lists, album releases, and promotional strategies often created friction within the band. Frehley's insistence on managing his solo projects alongside Kiss caused particular tension, especially when he declined certain tour dates or contractual arrangements to focus on his personal artistic vision. These choices sometimes frustrated colleagues, but they also demonstrated a commitment to autonomy that few in the industry possessed. The complexity of Frehley's relationships was further highlighted during Kiss reunion tours. Each tour required careful negotiation over performance roles, profit distribution, and creative input, often resurrecting old disagreements. Yet even in moments of friction, the underlying respect for Frehley's talent remained clear. Simmons herself acknowledged, "We had our disagreements, but we always respected Ace's talent." This duality, conflict tempered by admiration, was a recurring theme throughout Frehley's life. Beyond interpersonal disputes, Frehley also faced external pressures from record labels, managers, and the broader music industry. His decision to leave Kiss temporarily, decline certain contracts, and manage his solo endeavors independently was a testament to his desire to retain creative control. While these decisions occasionally sparked controversy among fans and media, they also solidified his image as an artist who refused to compromise his vision. Frehley's career controversies were not limited to business disputes. Public disagreements, rumors, and accusations sometimes arose, including conflicts that touched on personal matters. Through all this, Frehley maintained a reputation for honesty and directness, emphasizing that every choice was rooted in his musical philosophy rather than ego or provocation. His outspoken nature, while occasionally polarizing, contributed to the enduring intrigue surrounding his life and work. Ace Frehley's solo career represented the purest expression of his artistic independence. Choosing to manage his own albums, tours, and collaborations, he created music that reflected his personal vision without compromise. Frehley's solo projects were marked by experimentation, creativity, and a refusal to adhere to commercial expectations, which sometimes surprised fans accustomed to the signature sound of Kiss. Fans' reactions were mixed at times, but the underlying admiration for Frehley's dedication never waned. His willingness to change performance style, explore new genres, and collaborate with a diverse range of artists reinforced his image as a musician committed to creative freedom. Frehley's choices underscored an important truth: the music mattered more than fame, recognition, or convenience. The legacy of his solo career extended beyond albums and tours. It shaped a narrative of an artist unafraid to stand apart, embrace risk, and prioritize authenticity. In doing so, Frehley inspired both peers and fans alike to value integrity, individuality, and the courage to pursue one's artistic path, no matter how unconventional it might appear. In his later years, Ace Frehley faced significant health challenges that affected both his personal life and musical endeavors. A history of alcohol and drug addiction had once threatened to derail his career, but Frehley overcame these struggles, demonstrating resilience and a commitment to stability. For years, he maintained a disciplined lifestyle, attending treatment programs and medical interventions that enabled him to continue performing at a high level. Despite these efforts, his body inevitably bore the weight of decades of intense performance and rigorous touring. Accidents and medical events began to impact his ability to perform, culminating in a tragic studio incident in September 2025. A brain hemorrhage required immediate life support and forced the cancellation of all planned tours for the fall and winter of that year. This period of Frehley's life underscored the interplay between his relentless dedication to music and the physical toll of a career lived at full intensity. Even as he faced these challenges, he remained focused on his craft, showing the same determination that had defined his career from the beginning. His fans and colleagues witnessed not only the vulnerabilities of age and illness, but also the unwavering commitment that had always driven him. The final chapter of Frehley's life was thus marked by both struggle and courage, a testament to a man who refused to let circumstance dictate his artistic vision. His health struggles became part of the narrative of resilience, reflecting the sacrifices, discipline, and persistence required to maintain a life in rock music at the highest level. Ace Frehley's life was a symphony of creativity, independence, and defiance. He leaves behind a legacy defined not only by iconic music, but by the uncompromising spirit with which he approached every decision, performance, and collaboration. His career, marked by brilliance, controversy, and resilience, reflects the journey of a man who never followed the crowd, choosing instead to follow the music wherever it led him. From the glitz and chaos of Kiss to the intimate triumphs of his solo work, Ace Frehley will be remembered as an artist who lived and created on his own terms. His story is one of talent, integrity, and an unyielding passion for music, a narrative that will continue to inspire generations of musicians and fans alike. The funeral, the surprises, the tributes, and the conflicts all paint a portrait of a life lived fully, fiercely, and without compromise. Guitarist Ace Frehley, the iconic founding member of Kiss, passed away at the age of 74, leaving the world of rock in mourning. His death immediately drew attention from fans, musicians, and media outlets alike, highlighting a career that spanned over 5 decades of explosive performances, pioneering guitar riffs, and an unmistakable persona. Known to millions as the Spaceman, Frehley's music and artistry reshaped rock forever, blending theatrics, innovation, and raw talent into a singular identity. The announcement of his passing was only the beginning. Frehley's funeral became a focal point for the music community, drawing friends, family, and industry colleagues from around the world. But amid the crowd, a single presence surprised everyone: Gene Simmons, whose attendance instantly created tension, curiosity, and speculation. Her appearance reminded all that Frehley's life, while defined by legendary achievements, was also marked by complex relationships and unresolved conflicts that spanned decades. From his early years with Kiss to his groundbreaking solo ventures, Ace Frehley's journey was a story of independence, resilience, and creative freedom. His funeral, held in Morristown, New Jersey, became more than a memorial. It became a reflection of a life lived boldly, passionately, and without compromise. Born with a guitar in hand, Ace Frehley discovered his passion for music at a young age. The raw talent he displayed in his teenage years hinted at the revolutionary artist he would become. Before fame, he was a young man with a vision: to play his way, unbound by convention. In the early 1970s, Frehley co-founded Kiss alongside Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Peter Criss. This union of distinct personalities gave birth to one of the most visually and musically captivating bands of all time. Ace's spaceman persona, characterized by silver makeup, dazzling stage costumes, and an air of otherworldly mystery, quickly became a defining symbol of the band. Touring relentlessly, Kiss captured the imagination of rock fans around the world. From small clubs to sold-out arenas, Frehley's explosive guitar solos and magnetic stage presence set him apart. Even in the whirlwind of fame, he remained fiercely independent, refusing to let band politics dilute his vision or artistry. His early rise was a testament not only to talent, but to an unyielding commitment to authenticity. During his time with Kiss, Frehley's influence extended beyond guitar riffs. Albums like Destroyer, Love Gun, and Alive featured his signature style: melodic, daring, and technically precise. On stage, his pyrotechnics and guitar theatrics thrilled audiences, making every concert a spectacle. However, his brilliance often collided with the ambitions of his bandmates. Creative disagreements, disputes over royalties, and decisions about tours occasionally sparked tension. Yet even in conflict, Frehley's contribution remained undeniable. His solos, melodies, and unique stage presence helped define Kiss's identity, making him an irreplaceable figure in rock history. Ace Frehley's desire for artistic autonomy led him to pursue solo projects. His debut solo album in 1978, released simultaneously with the other Kiss members' albums, showcased his versatility and vision. Frehley's Comet, his post-Kiss band, further reflected his commitment to creating music on his own terms. Managing his own albums, tours, and collaborations, Frehley experimented freely, blending hard rock with melodic textures and embracing risks that many peers avoided. While some fans were surprised by his stylistic choices, his solo career solidified his reputation as a fearless artist, unafraid to forge a path independent of commercial pressures. Ace Frehley's personality was as memorable as his music. Outspoken, independent, and unapologetically himself, he navigated life and career with a clarity of vision few could match. Known for his honesty, both in personal relationships and professional dealings, Frehley refused to compromise on his creative principles. This approach sometimes created friction with bandmates, collaborators, and industry executives. Yet it was precisely this independence that produced some of the most memorable music of the era. Frehley lived for music first, fame second, and compromise was never an option. The Morristown, New Jersey funeral gathered family, friends, former bandmates, and industry figures. From the moment attendees arrived, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation, curiosity, and grief. Everyone wondered who would speak, who would appear, and whether old disputes might surface. Amid the crowd, Gene Simmons emerged as the sole surprising guest, instantly shifting the focus. The tension was palpable. Whispers and glances confirmed what everyone suspected. The relationship between Frehley and Simmons had been fraught with disagreements over contracts, tours, and artistic control. Her presence, brief yet dramatic, brought decades of unresolved history to the forefront, creating an emotionally charged atmosphere. At the funeral, Simmons delivered a short, poignant speech. Ace was always unpredictable, she said, but his talent and honesty overcame everything. She acknowledged their disagreements while emphasizing respect for his unwavering commitment to music. We argued, we got angry, but Ace always kept the music at the center of everything. I learned a lot from how he stuck to himself. Past interviews had also captured her admiration. Ace never compromised his music or himself, and that's what made him who he is, and that's what I've always respected. Her words were quickly picked up by the media, emphasizing the complexity of their relationship, a mixture of tension, respect, and shared history. Peter Criss, Ace's longtime friend and former Kiss drummer, reflected, Ace always did things his way. He was independent and outspoken. That sometimes caused tension, but it was the most important part of his career. His independence is what made his music special. Family members, including daughter Monique Frehley, shared emotional tributes. My father lived and worked his own way. Music was his life, and what he left behind is a gift for all of us. Longtime manager Larry Libman praised his determination. Ace always wanted to do music his own way. It created conflict at times, but it showed he was a man who stood by his principles.